Good morning, Year 3. This week in Maths, we are going to be looking at how to add and subtract fractions. Now, we are going to be working with fractions where the denominators are all the same. So let's get started. Okay, to start with, let's practice writing our fractions. So we've got a question here saying, how many of the boxes are blue? So remember, to set out our fraction, we need to draw our fraction line. Our denominator goes underneath and our numerator goes on top. So let's start with our denominator. Our denominator tells us the total number of parts and we're working with boxes. So let's count how many boxes we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Super. So I'm going to write 5 as my denominator. 5. I have 5 total parts. Now, my numerator is going to be the number of parts I'm looking at. I'm looking at the blue parts. How many blue boxes are there? Super, there is one blue box, so I'm going to write 1 as my numerator. So my fraction is 1/5. Okay, so I'm just going to recap that one more time. The 1 is our numerator, because we are looking at one part which is blue, and our 5 is a denominator, because the total number of parts, our boxes, is 5. So our fraction is 1/5. Now I want you to have a go at that in the next slide. Okay, so this time pause me and I want you to have a go yourself at writing down what fraction of the boxes are orange. Okay, go and have a go. Okay, fantastic. Again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. So our denominator is 5. And how many coloured in orange? 1, 2. So our numerator is 2. So have a go at reading that fraction. 2/5. Super. Now we're going to move on to our addition. So our question is, how many of the boxes are coloured? So let's remember, we have 1/5 of the boxes are blue. We also have 2/5 of the boxes are orange. Now because we're finding the total all together, we need to add. So we're going to write our addition symbol there. 1/5 plus 2/5 equals. Now, I wonder if you can remember what happens when we add these fractions. Okay, so if you remember we don't add the denominator. The denominator is 5th, it stays the same. So we write our denominator as 5. It is not 5 plus 5 equals 10. 1/5 plus 2/5 does not equal something in tenths. We're still, if you look at your picture, you've got 1/5, you've got another 2, so that makes 2/5, that makes 3/5. So our answer is 3/5. Now let me draw a diagram that's going to show you why it's not 3/10. Okay, so my lovely diagram there, my little bar I've drawn for you. You can see the top bar represents fifths and the bottom bar represents tenths. So if I'm adding 1/5, let me colour in 1. There we go. With 2/5, that makes 1, 2, 3/5. That's what we have, 1 plus 2. Now some of you might have done 5 plus 5 because you just added it all together. It can't be that because 3/10 would look like this. 1, 2, 3. 3/10 is smaller than 2/5 and you're adding 2/5 plus 1/5. So it cannot be 3/10 as a much smaller fraction. Remember, the bigger the denominator, the smaller the part you're getting. So the smaller the fraction is. So it's really, really important you only add the numerators. When your denominators are the same, you leave it and you just add the numerators. So we're going to have another go at that. So let's have a look at this example. Here we have Jessie and James and they share a chocolate bar. Now Jessie eats 2/7 of it and James eats 4/7 of it. Now that doesn't seem very fair to me. Poor Jessie, she's not got very much, has she? As a fraction, how much of the chocolate bar did Jessie and James eat all together? So I want you to pause me and write out your fraction addition sentence. Fantastic, you should have written 2/7 plus 4/7. And now let's remember how we're going to answer it. Do we add our denominators. No, we don't. We do not add 7 plus 7. The sevenths stay the same. Do not add them. We only add our numerators. So we add 2 plus 4. 2 plus 4. We're going to add those two together, which equals 6. So our answer is they ate 6/7 of the chocolate bar. And if we look at our picture, we can see there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 parts out of the 7 got eaten. There's only 1/7 left. 6/7 were eaten. Not 6/14, so it's a very different amount. It's 6/7. Okay, your turn to have a practice. I would like you to add the red part and the green part of this bar together as a fraction, please. So pause me, have a go, and then we'll look at the answer. Okay, so we've got our red part, which is 1, 2, 3. So my numerator is 3. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares in total, so 5 total parts. So we write the red as 3/5. Same for green, we have 5 total parts, so we're working fifths, and 1 is green, so it's 1/5. 3/5 plus 1/5. We don't add to the denominator, we're still in fifths. We just add the numerator. 3 plus 1 equals 4. So 4/5 of that bar are coloured in red and green. Okay, here I want you to add the green and blue for me. So again, pause, have a think, and then play. Okay, fantastic. So here we don't have 5 total parts. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. So my denominator is 4. The red is just 1, so it's 1, not 4th, 1/4. We read those 4s as quarters in fractions. The blue is 2, so that's 2/4. So I'm adding together my 1/4 plus my 2/4, which gives me 1, 2, 3/4. Remember, we do not add up the denominators. Really important, only the numerator. Right, again, just draw a little diagram to show you. 3/4 is very different to 3/8. 3/8, well, 2/8 here is the same as 1/4, and 3/8 is half of this quarter. So 3/8 is less than 2/4. You're adding 2/4 plus 1/4. Your answer cannot be smaller than 2/4. It's going to be bigger, greater than 2/4. So really remember, a bigger denominator is a smaller fraction, and when we are adding, we are not changing our denominators, we are just changing our numerators. That's really, really important. I'm going to keep repeating it and saying it over and over again. Right, now we're going to go at subtracting fractions. Same as for adding, we do nothing to the denominators, we only subtract the numerators. So what is my total here? Let's have a look. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 what? I've got 4/4. Okay. Now I want to take away 1/4. So I'm going to write that out. Take away 1/4. Remember what I said before? We're not taking away the denominators, just the numerators. So I can write my denominators 4 already, as that isn't changing. Now I'm going to take away 1/4 from my diagram, cross it out. I'm left with 1, 2, 3. 4 take away 1 equals 3. My answer is 3/4. Okay, nice and easy. So next example, I want you to have a go by yourselves. Okay, so there's your question. 6, 6, take away 4, 6. Pause me, do your working out, and then play to see what the answer is. Okay, let's do it ourselves. We're going to take away 1. We're going to take away 2. We're going to take away 3. And we're going to take away 4. And our answer is 6, 6 take away 4, 6 equals 2/6. 6 take away 4 equals 2. So we have 2/6. Well done. We have a big smiley face if you got that one correct. What's a lovely smiley face? Alright, I think we're on to our final question, year 3. Why? I wonder if you could stop and figure out what my fraction is for this bar. Gosh, I think we are working with tenths. We have 10 tenths, and I'm going to ask you to take away 7/10. Okay, remember, same as before, pause me, have a go, and then play to check your answer when I go through it. Okay, so let's take away 7. Take away 1, 2, 6, and 7. We've taken away 7. What do I have left? 1, 2, 3. So I have left 3/10. Fantastic. Give yourself a nice big tick and pat on the back. You got that one. So what we need to remember when we're answering all the problems this week is that when we're adding and subtracting fractions, our denominators are the same and they're not changing. They're not getting bigger, they're not getting smaller. It's only the numerators, the numbers on top, that are changing. So it's really important you remember that when adding and subtracting fractions. Okay, enjoy all the maths problems and questions this week. Remember to upload anything you've done to Seesaw, send me a shout and email if you need any help. Okay, have a lovely week, Year 3.